And we're live. What a beautiful, beautiful morning. Welcome to July 6th.
I don't know about everyone else, but I feel a hell of a lot better than I did yesterday. I think a day under our belts, everyone kind of gets back in the routine.
Yesterday was a rough one, man. It was a little
for
disorienting.
Everybody
right?
I talked to, everyone seemed a little bit battered and bruised. So hopefully today goes better for everybody.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the saddle, though. When in doubt, I scheduled an in-person lunch yesterday. Got to go visit with Jerry Latrento, and this is so significant because the backstory on Jerry, if you don't know it, Jerry is the guy that actually put me in this space to coach and to speak. I'm actually in Deerfield today. I'll be speaking to the Closet Factory folks, but when I get with him, he just pulls the best out of me, and he's smart and irreverent. So look at how great he looks. His wife is on the the nutrition plan. She's the nutrition master. So he looks great. We had a great time. He used a word, which he always does. His vocabulary is amazing. Shay, do you have the graph of recalcitrant? So can you imagine just sitting there having lunch and he brings up this word, man? It was like a person with that's uncooperative attitude. It was an amazing reference. The work that we're doing there is shifting. So we were deep into it. He used that word, and then he used another word that was unbelievable. So we're basically phasing out one of the things, the objectives I had, and phasing into another. And he goes, "Let's just sunset that." I was like, drop the fork, man. It was what a great, instead of like tabling it, which felt clinical. So shout out to Jerry Latrento. Thank you for being my guy, my foil. We're gonna have
I'm really glad that I didn't go into like a disciplinary meeting and my boss like used that word with me. I would have blankly stared back at them.
Well, what's interesting is that for me, it's like one of those things where, if someone uses a word I don't know it, I ask them, so right. I like said to him, "Oh my God, Scrabble winner word," all like that. And I actually knew what that word meant, but we sort of went into it. And so anyway, great stuff. Great way to supercharge my Tuesday. We're at Wednesday. It's Wisdom Wednesday. We have audience participation today. That means the huddle. We have 2 questions. We're going to ask the questions. Jake and Shay are going to participate. We want you guys to participate. Even if you're not here live, if you happen to be watching it somewhere, throw your answer in. But we'll do that right after we get wake up music. So Shay, wake us up.
Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Come on.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Lainey. Great to see you. Randall, Michelle, Lou has it right, man. No one knows what day it is, man.
The crowd is rolling in.
Just doing your thing, man. Great crowd this morning. Laura Brody, great to see you here live. So here's today's question of the day. It's something you can ask anybody. You can ask them in social media. You can ask them in person. You can reach out to an old friend and say, "Hey, I got a question for you. Shay, show me today's question." You meet your 18-year-old self. You're allowed to say 3 words. What do you say? Now, here's something very interesting. Shay, we can come back live. So here's something very interesting. I immediately went to a 3-word sentence. Jake said, I can use just 3 words. So Jake, I want to hear your perspective, only being 6 years removed from 18. Let's hear it.
There's a couple different directions you can always go. I think you meet your 18-year-old self, you were thinking a lot of different things when you were 18. Personally, it's technically 2 words, and I'm going to use another one. I'm going with it's worth it. At 18, I made a couple decisions that were completely different from my friends, from what a majority of 18-year-olds would do, and I struggled with it. I made the decision to pretty much work a full-time job instead of joining the fraternity, instead of being surrounded with what my friends were doing, partying and all these other things, and I struggled with that. I called you a lot of sleepless nights, wondering, was I making the right decision? And so I battled in my mind about it's worth it or just live a little. And I went with it's worth it, because looking back, what I did, what I accomplished, and the lessons I learned will forever be with me. And no one can take those away from me. No matter the fact I didn't stay in coaching, the relationships I made, the players I coached, it is absolutely the best.
So I love it. Thank you for the participation on your side. I love the way you gave it thought. Bob Goldfarb says go to college, and I would say bullshit, because I went to college. I wasted 3 years, didn't do anything really for me. Scott Garber says just do it. Debbie Hammer, fantastic. Take the risk. Randall Newton, that's really, really cool. Mistakes are okay. My 3 words. Well, actually, before I give you my 3 words, Shay from behind the screen, jump on board if you can. What are your 3 words?
Make it happen.
Shay's been making it happen for a very long time now.
So it's so funny because we pulled up to have lunch yesterday at Abe and Louie's, my favorite steakhouse, and we get inside and Jerry's already there, and Jerry says, "What's MIH?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, we've been working together forever. You know, Shay." He saw it on the back. He saw it on Shay's license plate and didn't understand what it was. It's making it happen.
So Laney Jones is supposed to be 3 words, not 4. But I like it.
But you know what? Laney gets away with it.
Right,
Laney can do whatever she wants. So this is great. Thank you. So I love Devin. Boom. Stay the course. You know, that is really, has a lot to do with believe in yourself. There's 3 words that works. Aileen Bavard. That's a new name to the crowd. Thank you for joining in. Great. Brian DePotter, fantastic. Faith Wilson, life is short. Here's my 3 words. Follow your gut. Your gut never lies. You know, deep down in your constitution, you know what to do always. People get away from listening to that voice. The voice knows. Randy Ostrow, keep the faith.
We just talked about it. The scene from Bronx Tale, when he gets out of the car. You know exactly when it's wrong, and you know exactly when you're with the wrong people. So follow your gut. Obviously, it's something you instilled in us for a very long time. Hasn't failed us yet. So,
Lori Salarillo, on point for sure. Be all in. Life is that e-ticket at Disney World, man. Just take it all. So thank you all for the participation. That's super, super cool. Great exercise for you to continually ask yourself that, look at the people in your life and ask them. So really, really cool. So we'll have more audience participation now, because I love that. And this is about creativity versus innovation. And I hear this all the time. Companies are talking about, oh, we're so innovative, or we're creative, or some people say I'm not creative, and then if they can't be good in social media. Shay, show me the saying, if you would. Creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is actually doing it. And so I want you to watch this video, but while you're watching the video, we're going to take a vote on what is your favorite innovation, because these people are doing it.
Hey! Give it up. I know you'll be fine.
So this is just some cool stuff happening. For me, the chair was the coolest. The chair
Yeah.
that turns into a,
Bed
so
with there's so many, and I really, when I think Sea Furniture now and innovation, I think of City Furniture, obviously. I mean,
correct.
Andrew Koenig, and I know we were going to talk about him a little bit. We push that to another day, but he does such a fantastic job of curating all the furniture in the world. You always see him. He's in Milan. He's at all these new technology conferences, always trying to innovate by actually doing it. So it's fascinating where the world is going. We were talking
Love it.
about it when I was 18. So there was a funny one when everyone said, "What would you tell your 18-year-old self?" You would tell them Netflix, Amazon, and Google. For me, I had those when I was 18, though. So it's interesting to see where the world is going, how fast innovation is moving, and what we're continuously doing for everybody.
So interesting stuff here. David Shore, didn't we see the double-decker couch in the, oh, I'm sorry, Shay, I didn't realize you were doing it. Shay, get it up there. There you go. Didn't we see the double-decker couch in the Lego movie? You would assume that I saw the Lego movie.
Which is actually a very funny movie. It's actually a really good movie. It's all with Kai,
So-
but it's great.
So, it is true, though, that, Andrew Koenig is on the edge of innovation and creativity. They were just voted, of all of the retailers in the country, they were voted number 9. I saved that for tomorrow so that we can speak, Mark can chime in, because Andrew does put the work in, does have a system on how to be innovative. And I love that. Look at Coach Michael. Boom, Coach Mike. Thank you, man. Adopt or die. Killer. We can keep this stuff going. So let's get to some great motivational music. And then we're going to talk about a gentleman named Jordan Peterson. If you don't know him, you should. He wrote a book. He only sold 500 copies the first time. Second book, 8 million. So you got to keep trying. Listen to this about your mind. Bang, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Doesn't get better than Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sorry about that. And the words to that song are great, man. Gotta control your mind, control your thoughts. Jordan Peterson is one of those guys. If you're a YouTube fan like I am, of building your library full of content that works, this is Jordan Peterson.
We focus on the idea of happiness too much. And the problem with that is that it takes our focus away from aims that would be more productive. It's much better to aim for meaning than for happiness. 12 Rules for Life is about how to live properly in the face of vulnerability, tragedy, and malevolence. One of the propositions in 12 Rules for Life is that life existence is usefully characterized as an interplay of order and chaos, or unknown and known. You're always striving to balance those two. If what you're doing is too familiar, you're bored. And if what you're doing is too unfamiliar, then you're anxious. And what you want to do is find the harmonious line between those two, and that's signified by meaning. If you can get those two things right, then you can have your cake and eat it too. I hope people can take away the idea that there is a mode of being in the face of the vulnerability and tragedy of life that is noble and powerful and capable of sustaining them through the worst possible times without becoming corrupt and bitter.
So he's one of those guys that I've been following for a while, and he just has a certain style, a certain edge to him.
The way that he speaks, whatever he says.
Right? Am I right?
Right. No, the way. So, and I hope everybody, when we show little clips of, content creators, that you go, you follow them, you dig deeper into what they're saying, because we can only show so much. And all these content creators, and I think this about you too, you give away so much for free. Yes, you get paid to speak, and yes, they make a lot of money, but they give it all the way for free because that's what they like. It's what they get the passion from. It's helping other people. So take advantage of it, go follow them, and go look at more of what they're doing.
So I love the fact that we have this platform for me to share people like Jordan Peterson. He's there for the world to take. Correct. When you talk about what would you say to your 18-year-old self? Well, my 18-year-old self didn't have the opportunity to have the library I have now. It's like, look at what the world has given us. I get to know Jordan Peterson, know what he's doing, know what he's saying. And so he has 12 rules for life. And the way he puts them are so unique. I'm going to unpack a few. Like, just think about this. Sweep in front of your own door before pointing out the street is dirty. I mean, that is like, handle your own shit. You know what? And that's one of the things I see in coaching and in business and in all these people that are just, spouting, take care of your own shit. So I love that. Number 2, treat yourself like a child you're responsible for. I was like, wow, man. So Howie Craw in the house. Thank you, Mr. Craw. And feel free to comment on these, Jake, because to your point. So I'll roll through them and then I want your feedback. Here's another one. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. What does that mean?
Confidence. If you wanted me, it's how you show up, or don't let the world get you down would be the two that I go.
Wow, fantastic. So body language, my takeaway there is body language is so important. People can read you long before you open your mouth. They can read your eyes. They can read your body. They can read all of that. The Beach Boys did a song called Good Vibrations. You can feel when somebody's feeling it and in a groove. So this is incredible. Make friends with people who want the best for you. And that was probably one of the biggest lessons I learned, is that is not true of all the people that you hang out with. Some people
probably one of the harder lessons I've ever learned.
Yeah, when I spoke it.
That knowing that someone else, even though you might have the best will for them and the best intentions for them, could not give a flying shit about what happens to you. And you have to live with that. You can't force someone else to do that.
Well, so what's interesting is that, and I said this when I spoke at the Biz Dev event, I'm going to say it again this morning. You either live with an abundant mindset, meaning there's enough for everybody. I just got to stay on my course. Someone said that before, and go get mine. But I think most people think that if their neighbor gets something, that means there's less for them. That's a really damaging thought process that a lot of people live with. This one's another doozy. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Wow.
I just did it myself this morning. I just compared myself to who I was yesterday. I knew that I felt better today than I was yesterday, and therefore I was going to do more than I did yesterday or better. And look, there's only, for most of us, you might look at someone else in the mirror. When you wake up in the morning, you only look at yourself in the mirror. You're the only one looking back, and so those are the answers you have to answer to.
This one was actually taught to me by my grandfather, so it's so relevant. Be precise in your speech. Do you ever talk to somebody who's talking around and you're like, you want to go, hey, get to the fucking point. Doesn't need that many words to tell. And so being on point, being precise, those are really, really cool little tidbits. Now he unpacks this with lots of storytelling and lots of great stuff. So another doozy. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. And this is to me the drop the mic comment of all of his stuff, because I, as a lifelong learner, believe that everybody has something to teach me. It's the way I got up on stage and told people, I go, listen, if you take one thing from me today and put it into your bag of tricks, that's all I'm asking for. I set the goal up front. I said, I'm going to speak to you for 90 minutes, but just take one thing. And if you take one thing from everybody, I take one thing from Jordan Peterson, one thing from Tony Robbins, one thing from Seth Godin, one thing, all of a sudden you've got your own 12 things that you've put together, tied them together in a way that couldn't have been done. And I think for you, in everything that you're doing now, you're taking from everybody that's around you. You're taking that influence.
I think it's having that beginner mindset. When you have that beginner mindset, you're consistently looking at everybody because they're not beginners. And so that doesn't mean that they're right or wrong or it's going to fit the way you do. But it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't close yourself off to the world. There's so many different walks of life. We learned from Ed Bastian, and then we learned from Jesse Itzler. They couldn't look any different. Like Ed Bastian's never doing a water fast for 3 days. Doesn't mean I can't learn or it doesn't fit me. You take a little bit from everybody and then you build your library, like you said.
Yeah, I think, the fact that we gather every morning and are just so immersed in this kind of content, if you look at it as gasoline, drink it down, let it soak around, light it on fire, and go out there and make the world a better place today. So hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. 3 words to your 18-year-old self, share that. I want to see it in social media. I want to see it all over the place. I'm going to get ready, get on stage, kick some ass this morning for the folks at Closet Factory. But if you're out there, it's time to get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.